Yeah.
I will be getting your views, Kingo, in a little bit. Let's just take our viewers to Villarosa Kempinski, where the Kenya Private Developers Association is having a stakeholders forum there. Our very own Wairimu Njenga is on standby, and she wants to have a conversation with the Housing Secretary. Wairimu, what's the latest?
Thank you, Betty. We are live from Upper Hill, right here at Villarosa Kempinski, where we are looking at some of the key issues that developers are facing in the real estate sector. This is a meeting that has been organized by Kenya Private Developers Association as they look at various issues that real estate developers are facing. One being they are looking at streamlining approval processes, that is advancement in building plans and permits. They'll be also looking at exploring solutions for challenges in electricity connection for new projects. This is an area that will be handled by Kenya Power. They'll also be addressing housing incentives. And this is an area I want to focus on with the Housing Secretary, who is Athman Said. And he will be talking to us some of the areas that they're looking at as the government, and also look at the affordable housing agenda. Remember, this agenda is close to President William Ruto's heart, and he's been going around the country pushing for the affordable housing agenda. And to just give us an update of where we are with the affordable housing agenda is Athman here, right here with me. Athman, maybe you can start by telling us the progress update of the affordable housing, houses that are being put up across the country.
Thank you very much. I think currently we are doing very well. We are crossing over 50,000 units that are being done across the country. Virtually in every county, we have a project that is going on. Either we have a market going on, we have some affordable housing projects going on. We are rolling more this year in particular. And that's why in this particular meeting of the property developers are very important for us, to us as government, because they actually also develop. And this housing fund or housing levy is supposed to contribute towards, once they do the units, acceptable rates that are affordable to Kenyans, then the government will also be able to offtake from that. Yes.
One of the key issues that have been raised here by developers is infrastructural challenges.
Yes.
From where you sit as the government, as the public, what are you doing to ensure that these things are addressed?
I think the question raised in this forum about the fact that you cannot just put up houses, but you must also put up associated infrastructure. And indeed, the housing levy that was approved by Parliament does talk about the ability or the necessity of putting up a housing infrastructure that will support the housing. So the concern is genuine, and what the government is doing, wherever it is going, the infrastructure within that particular area, that particular scheme, that's the responsibility of the developer. But the infrastructure outside that area, if you're putting up an additional 50,000, 10,000 units, that of course will cause strain in the infrastructure in terms of water, in terms of sewage. So that then we are working together with the county governments, we are working together with the other agencies, the road infrastructure that leads to the program. So it is part of the program of affordable housing, not just putting up towers, but putting up also associated both physical infrastructure and social infrastructure. Because where will those the families, where will they go to shopping? Where will the kids go to school? What about the hospitals? So you'll find in every project it has associated physical and social infrastructure.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that Kenya, of course, has a housing demand of 250,000 units and an estimated supply of 50,000. That is what is being currently developed right now. You've talked about 50,000 right now that is being developed across the country. Are we likely to bridge this deficit in the near future?
Yeah, and you're right. We do have a need for 250,000 per year. The current market does 50,000, and that's why this particular government, when during campaign, they offered and they promised to put 200,000 units a year. What we are doing now are the first steps. Like I've already told you, we're about 50,000 so far. I think in about 3, 4, 5 years, we'll be going towards capacity and producing 200,000 houses every year. It is possible. It is really possible. The biggest challenge has been finding a formula, and one of the formulas that we have been able to do so far is having the levy. Because the levy then enables, as has been discussed in the meeting, that developers, when they develop at the current market rates, they only develop for a given high-end client. You have a house which is 7 million, 8 million, 9 million. That cannot be afforded by somebody who is earning 10,000 shillings, 20,000 shillings, 30,000 shillings. So the houses that we are building, we are offering to Kenyans you have a one-bedroom house at about 5,000 shillings per month on a tenant purchase scheme. 2 bedrooms at 10,000 shillings per month on a tenant purchase scheme, rent to own. 3 bedrooms at 15,000 shillings per month. It means the rent you are paying now will enable you to own a house forever. Even the person at the slum area who is currently paying 2,500 shillings per room, basically. So under social housing, that same person, we are offering them 2,500 shillings, but in a proper into decent houses. Yes.
Thank you, Said. Him talking to us about the affordable housing agenda and also mentioning the 1.5 housing levy that is being implemented, or rather, it is actually being implemented right now in the country, rather, Betty. And he will also be talking about some of the other issues that developers are facing, some of the legal reforms that needed in the housing agenda, and also they'll be looking at the electricity connections that some of the developers are saying that application process is slow. So how can they work together to ensure that the electricity connection is done before the property is developed? Now, back to you in studio, Betty.
Thank you very much, Wairimu Njenga. They are speaking to Said Asman, the Housing Secretary, and they are talking about matters housing in Kenya. Of course, the annual deficit of housing in Kenya stands at around 200,000 houses, and the affordable housing program is part of the government's effort to ensure that every Kenyan is housed. Well, we shall be seeing how that pans out, and Wairimu will be filing that report in our subsequent bulletins.